According to the National Bureau of Statistics in 2010, agriculture, which employs over 30% of the nation's population, is regarded as the foundation of the economy. The federal government is driving initiatives to make the sector a dominant part of the economy. My guest on this week's episode of the program talks about the nation's agriculture sector. Hello there. Thank you for joining me on the program this week. I'm Gloria Umezuke. Nigeria is on its way to modern development by seeking to be a major global player, especially in the agriculture sector. Well, government is taking steps to make Nigeria an agriculture exporting nation. I had a conversation with the Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development on the nation's agriculture sector. What up ahead? The federal government wants to make Nigeria a major exporter of yam in the world. However, farmers have identified several challenges standing in the way of that vision. Take a listen.
Nigeria is the largest producer of yam in the world, and that is according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. However, Nigeria is behind when it comes to yam export, with Ghana leading the way. 2 weeks ago, 72 metric tons of yam was exported to Europe and the United States. Government hopes to do more and make Nigeria the top yam exporter in the world. This is exciting news for yam farmers like Simeon Utov from Daudu's district of Guma Local Council of Benue State. He is joined by young farmers as they weed the farm in the hope that they can key into the federal government yam export program. However, there are challenges.
The biggest challenge we used to have was the Fulani invasions and occupations, because they used to displace us and to have no access to our farms. They would displace and occupy. But of late, something is done, which is about the law against open grazing. So for that, we have seen the promised land, and we are hoping that if it's implemented, if it's enforced, then we'll enter the promised land. Apart from that, there are other challenges that we have, like having the herbicides to control the weeds, and having the fertilizer. Oftentimes, we are given, government makes effort, but being an agricultural state, it doesn't go out the way it should, and so that has been the challenge.
If we get a tractor and to make our farm through mechanizations, we can farm plenty, so that the food will be enough for our place, so that we cannot suffer for hunger. And so we want government to help us for using, giving us tractors so that we can farm through the tractor, so that we able us to get plenty yam.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture, Nigeria produces about 37 million tons of yam on 3 million hectares of land annually, accounting for 61.7% of global production. Yet, small-scale farmers like Simeon and his team, using crude methods, produce most of these yams. The farmers also contend with farm invaders, which sometimes leads to loss of their produce. For the sellers, they had to contend with poor and inadequate storage systems.
Muna maganan kuɗi da taki komai za a bada shi a kan lokaci sai samu dan taimaka muna mu samu mu yi abin nan da wuri.
Gwamnati ta taimaka mana da maganin fece da taki da sauransu na noma. Da kuma da bannan filane su san matake da za su ɗauka mana a ƙasa a samu zaman lafiya.
Indeed, there are challenges in the way of achieving #1 global yam exporter for Nigeria. Government will have to consider these challenges for the yam export program of the federal government to succeed.
In our interview, I had a conversation with Senator Heineken Lokpobiri on the nation's agriculture sector. He talks about investments in food processing, certification of agriculture produce for export, and the Rural Finance Institution Building Program. Senator Heineken Lokpobiri, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about food processing, what the government is doing to increase food processing in general, because, I mean, there was some promise at some point by the government. Bring us up to speed with the latest on that.
There was a report, a few years ago by the FAO that precisely in 2013, that what Nigeria lost in terms of post-harvest losses was about 9-point-something billion, or about 9 billion or thereabout. And studies have also shown that what is lost in Nigeria post-harvest is almost 50% or more than 50%. And so we realize that food processing is a major, challenge. And for us to have, full value addition, along the different value chains, along the different crops that are being produced in Nigeria, government needed to invest, in collaboration with the private sector, food processing. So what we do, take for instance rice. We recently procured over 200, small rice mills from 10 metric tons, per day to 20 metric tons per day, up to 50 metric tons per day, and then up to 100 tons per day. The idea is that these things will be given to, different farmers in different clusters across the country, and they will be able to, bring the rice produced, for processing. And we've also been able to create, a value chain around, the rice mills. Those who are going to be processing the rice will be different from those who are into production. And so by so doing, we